Hello, family. My name is James Trice, and I'm the creator of a podcast called YANA, or You Are Not Alone. You Are Not Alone is a podcast for Black men. It is more than just a podcast. It's a lifeline and a brotherhood. We're here to create a supportive, judgment-free space where Black men can have real, open conversations about what truly matters to us, from family and relationships to community, sports, culture, politics, faith, sex, race, education, and the challenges of everyday life. We dive deep into it all. Whether you're looking for advice, motivation, prayer, or just a comfort of knowing you're not walking this journey alone. YANA is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard, because none of us are meant to do life alone. Look for new episodes weekly wherever you get your podcasts. And look for me on Instagram at jbtrice123. Welcome to YANA. Grace and peace, everyone. Welcome to this episode of YANA, You Are Not Alone. A safe space, judgment-free space where Black men can talk uncensored about the issues that matter most to us. It's a space for us to be real, to be heard, to be listened to. A space where we walk this life's journey together, because we're never meant to do life alone. And so on today's episode, we have actually my cousin's name is Matthew Wiley. And so I'm glad he's joining us. Thank you, Matthew, for joining us today on today's
Absolutely.
show. So introduce yourself, briefly introduce yourself, tell the audience something that you would like them to know about you.
Okay. So I'll just start out. I guess like with a brief description of me. So I would say I'm a man of God first. Then I'm a man. Then I'm a Black man. I am an author and I am a husband.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So tell us what you are most passionate about. What brings you joy and satisfaction?
Okay. So it's interesting because I think about over my life, like how I would answer this question. I think of it now from at my 50 plus age now. And I would say my passion is most based upon my own personal health, that whether that be physically or mentally, and also just the stableness of my mind. That to me, I think that's more important than any money that I can make, any material thing I could have, or anything else that I could try to acquire.
Okay, so you're
Yeah,
most passionate. The thing that you're most passionate about is your health.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Because
So
it's almost like nothing else falls in line. If you don't have that, then I mean, what else? What else is that you can really do?
okay. So what do you
Yeah.
do then to take care of your health? What are some of the
Okay.
things you do and that you would encourage we as Black men to do?
Yeah. So now and I've been this way off and on for a while, as you yourself know. Um Mostly lately I've been like real big on juicing, juice like a used juicing kick. I'm actually hoping to make that into a business
Mhm.
sometime in the near future. That along with dieting, and then making sure that I do at least like I usually try to balance out between like 4 to 5 days a week, like an hour of working out. If I can't make the workout, I at least try to make sure I do like 10,000 steps a day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when you say
So
the steps, so you walk outside, you got some steps,
yeah.
do you have a treadmill in your home or
Well, I add it all up. It starts from the moment I jump out of bed, because I
oh,
got
okay.
yeah, there's a group that I use on the phone. I actually I can't remember the name of the app, but I created this group. And so my wife is in it, one of her friends, my mom, and me. So it's kind of like a 10,000 steps a day challenge, for all four of us. There's sometimes I don't meet the goal, but it's like kind of a good challenge, but it's fun, but it's healthy at the same time. So my steps start from the moment I get out of bed. I just grab the phone in my hand because it's all ran through the phone. So I just reach over the
Okay.
shoulder, grab the phone. So even the few steps I make to the bathroom, yeah, all of it count.
Okay. So you use
Yeah.
a device to count your steps.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, that's
So
interesting.
yeah, and it's kind of the part is interesting because actually in the morning my wife leaves before I go to work, so I usually walk her out to the car before she leaves off. So we're like on the third floor, so that might sometimes we'll just take the stairs in. And it's interesting before I get back to the apartment and walking her downstairs, getting back to the apartment, then walking back downstairs to get in my car and go to work. I've already walked almost like 1,500 steps already.
Oh yeah, so you're doing it. There
Yeah.
you go.
Right.
There you
Right. So yeah.
go. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you inspire me. I need to get up and do some more walking.
Yeah. I'll give you the app too once we finish here, and maybe like we can
Yeah,
make you could put a group together and then y'all can just kind of challenge each other. So
I like that. I'm gonna do that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you another question. So as a black man, what are you most concerned about right now? Personally, society, what are you most concerned about?
That's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. Um, I would say uh sticking with tonight, right now. Um, to me, there's something going on in the environment in this country right now. And it's more, it's even bigger than, the black consciousness that goes on with me and stuff. And the unfairness that I've seen as far as like um as far as this thing they call the white supremacy type of thing. But it seemed like there's something bigger that's going on.
Hmm.
And it kind of puts me in the mind of when Malcolm X made the statement, the chickens coming home to roost. It
Hmm.
seemed like a lot of the things that I think that we've been in the dark about as a country, not just us as black people, but as a whole. I think a lot of it is starting to come back to the country now. And I think that like, a lot of stuff that we're seeing, like, with this mass immigration into the country, whether it's legal or illegal, I think that a lot of this is coming from things that we've done outside of the country, and I think it's coming back. And so I don't feel as protected as I felt, as a younger child.
Hmm.
I feel that we're very exposed, and that something is possibly could be in the makings coming down the line. I don't feel the control that was once there. I don't think it's as much control now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
so given that answer to that question, then what do you think is the most challenging thing about being a black man is then? Given all the stuff you just talked about, right? And you
Yeah.
talk about you don't feel as control as much control, meaning that safety, I'm assuming, right? I don't put words in your
Correct.
mouth. That feel as safe.
Correct.
You feel like we're less stable as a
Hmm.
country.
Hmm.
But and so we understand the history of black men in America, right? And how we've been
Yeah.
treated, how we've been the stereotypes about us, the negative perceptions about us, the
Yeah.
anti-black violence and hate, and the all the disparities that exist in almost every single major category in America. And
Hmm.
you've been feeling that for years, and you felt stable. And now you're not feeling stable. So what do you
Yeah.
think is the most challenging thing about being a black man in America today is?
I feel that there was a time when and I don't want to like turn this to a religious conversation, but
Brother, this is a free flowing
yeah,
conversation, uncensored. We
okay.
can talk about whatever we want to talk about. Let's go.
Yeah, so there was a time where I felt like the black church had like a more had more of a bigger impact in the black community before the whole mega Planet Seed, ministries started kicking in. I felt that like that was kind of like a cornerstone. And it was like no matter what high extreme or whatever low extreme you were as Black Americans, particularly Black men, that
Hmm.
was the thing that always drew us back together and unified us. Now I kind of feel like there's like these two major extremes, and I feel like I'm like somewhere in the middle with the consciousness that like kind of see both sides. So on one side, there's this. I don't want to connect it to grassroots. I'm just gonna say street element
Hmm.
where it's just like there's this big excessiveness on. And actually, I'm not even gonna say on the street side. I'm saying on both sides. It's big excessive obsession with getting the bag.
Hmm.
And so you have on the one side, you have what, may be considered the the lower class of Black people. It's all this, well, I got to get mine and whatever it take and whatever I got to do. And, whoever, get hurt in my path or get in my way, it don't make no difference. I'm gonna do what I got to do to get my bag. And then you had this other side where there's this element of like Black people that like in this world of white supremacy, it's like they keep it on cruise control. It's like I feel like the things that as you was just alluding to about the things that we go through, we know where that where it originated from and where it come from, but it's now they don't even have to do anything now. We got enough of our own people that help this and are the gatekeepers. And so, you have certain people and who name I won't mention, but like a certain celebrity. And let's take the George Floyd murder, for example. And so she comes up with this documentary, and instead of whatever all of America has saw that, yeah, this man was murdered, she makes this documentary to prove that no, it wasn't because of that knee that the man had on his neck for 9 minutes. It's because he was a drug addict, So um it's like those two sides, and it's like there's no middle area that like I was saying before, how the church kept that unity regardless of whatever extreme of society that we were trying to reach. It was just something about that the pastors and that unity on Sunday that brought it all together. I don't feel that anymore, and so
Hmm.
I kind of feel like the consciousness is lost.
Wow.
So, yeah,
The consciousness, when we say consciousness, do you mean black consciousness or the concern for
correct,
blackness? And okay, okay.
correct. Yeah.
And you believe
And
that the church helped maintain that consciousness?
I think at one time they did.
Okay.
I don't really think that they really I don't think that's a primary concern anymore.
Hmm.
And then even like when you see things like, for example, with the boycott, that, although there was people
And
that
what
were
boycott are you
key.
talking about? You talking about the Target boycott?
No,
Which one are you talking about?
the actual civil rights boycotts,
Okay, so
with
like the
the yeah.
Montgomery bus boycott, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
a lot of that came into being. It's like, yeah, there were key people that did contribute and help with that, but it was all based out of the church, and then it was just this united thought that like, okay, yeah, okay, we got a problem. How are we going to deal with this? And
Right.
it didn't make no difference if you was a doctor, a lawyer, or if you just came out of jail. It was like, how are we going to deal with this?
Yes. So there's no like unity among us, no one-mindedness, no single-mindedness among us to say we're going to coalesce and support each other to address the issues that we face
Right.
as a people in this country, right?
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
the Montgomery bus boycott, what 388 days. Black people did not take public transportation, and those who had the means to travel around supported those who didn't have the means, and we supported each other in that. And you don't
Yeah.
feel that that exists today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So what do you think then is the solution?
Ooh, yeah. Wow. Honestly, um, I don't I and it's just my opinion, and I don't want to, be just, in the negative light and stuff. But I almost think it's too late. I think
Mm,
that I think we could do it like in small pockets, like you may have certain groups of people that can do it, but I think like nationwide as a whole, until we can visually lay our eyes on that spark, I think it's almost at the point where it's too late, because like as I was saying before, there's too many people who want to blend in with the status quo. That's good enough for them. I'm quit blaming them for everything. You got to do something for yourself and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and everything. And it's just like, I was thinking, because I was doing some looking around on the internet and stuff, and what I found out was that, like, so out of 22 million Black people in or foundational Black Americans, out of 22 million, only 8% of that population of Black men make over $100,000.
mhm.
The rest of that fall between, like, anywhere between 33,000 to 50,000. And so when you think about that, it's like, well, so that means there's like 176,000 men out of 22 million. There's 176,000 men that make over 100,000 or more. And
Mm,
so it's this thing where it's like, if if that doesn't if it's not shared by these people that keep the door, or they just figure, well, I got mine and you can go get yours, and I'm
mhm.
not gonna tell you, and your show not coming up in here because Massa, he want me to guard the door and screen people and stuff like that.
Right.
But if you
Gatekeepers.
don't, right, and if you don't take the time to show people how you got in, then it's almost like, could that ever happen? Could that ever change?
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, do you think that that's always been this way, though? We've always had this element of the haves and have-nots among us as Black people. And then I want you to clarify one point. Foundational
Okay.
Black Americans. Define what that is. So then we can have a perspective on what you're saying. I want people to understand when you say foundational Black Americans. What do you mean?
So there's always been this belief, and it's interesting because I always believed this way myself until recently, but there was always this belief that there were no Black people in America prior to white people being here, but there were actually Black people in this country before. They were enslaved too, but they were actually here before white people got here, and these were like in a lot of cases. I don't have all the information, but um, these were like some of, like, what they call today Seminole Indians. But because we've been told this thing that all the Indians that were here were the native Indians that we see on the reservations with the long hair and the bow and arrows and stuff like that. But no, there were actually Black Indians here,
Hmm.
like black in color, black in color and
Yeah.
and black and in appearance and everything. And so, yes, there was a big migration of slaves into America too, but there were also foundational Black Americans that were actually already here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
you're saying even among the foundational Black Americans, that sense of consciousness of Black unity has been lost.
And and it's interesting because um my wife is Ethiopian, as you know. The audience
Mm,
don't know, but like, so what's interesting is that with a lot of uh immigrants that come into the country now, you know, they have these stereotypes, or these projections of what they have been told about us before they even arrive into the country. And um but they're not told about the towns, that we had, the cities that we built and things like that. And they weren't just in one place, they were all around the country. So they don't get told the stories. It's like they just believe that we, from what they get told, that we just, all we want to do is have sex and drink and have fun and party. We shiftless and lazy and all this kind of stuff. But no, we had whole towns and cities.
that's
And
right.
so these stories they don't get to hear. And then, unless, they happen to meet somebody who's willing to explain that to them, or like in me and my wife's case,
Hmm. Hmm.
actually sit down and show and like, no, this is what was really going on, but they're not telling y'all about it. This is the same things that y'all feel like y'all doing in y'all country. We was doing it on a way higher level. And
Hmm.
even when you think about things like inventions, we got over 50,000 patents and inventions, that are done that have been done by Black Americans, and a lot of them we never even got the credit for because someone else stole it and took it over. So
That's right.
yeah,
Wow. Wow. And so when you said that there, you don't think you think all hope is lost of us regaining that black consciousness, right? So you think it's over. So then where do we go from here? If there all hope is lost that we is not going to have again, we're not going to regain uh, the sense of community among us, a sense of unity, of coming together and supporting each other and standing with each other, and not have this Eurocentric mentality of me, my,
yeah,
I, right?
yeah,
Because to be clear, and let's just really lay this out to the audience that black folk or people of color, period, whether it's African American, black folk, people from other uh, countries of color, all of that, right? We
yeah.
we believe in the collective, the us, the we, right?
Right,
Are,
right,
right? Not the
right.
me, my, I. That's a Eurocentric mindset,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
To believe in the I. We believe in collectively supporting each other and standing with each other. I mean, we'll take care of our relatives' kids if they can't, right?
Hmm.
All that. I remember when I was doing some training, and the training was around poverty, and I asked a group of students in my training class, when did you realize you were poor? And
Mm.
everybody talked about not making enough money, whatever else. But overwhelmingly, and I don't think it ever was a time where the immigrants who were in my class, whether they from
Hmm.
the continent of Africa or whether they from Asia or wherever they're from, the immigrants that were here said they didn't realize they were poor until they got to America,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
because in their country where they were, they supported each other. They took care of each other. If somebody
Wow,
didn't have anything, they went and supported each other. I remember one sister
wow,
from Nigeria. She said, she had a family of five, right? It was five. It was mother, father, and then three kids. But if there was a neighbor that didn't have anything to eat, they had
wow,
one chicken. They had one chicken to split between five people. If a neighbor didn't
wow,
have anything to eat, they would say, "Come on and share this chicken with us." And they realized they had to split the chicken now between six people instead of five people, and that's how they
wow,
supported each other, right?
wow.
And I said, "Wow, that is amazing." Um, and so again, the question is, is all hope lost? Can
Yeah.
we get that back? Can we cultivate that?
I don't want to say never, and maybe that probably was a bad selection from a bad choice for me to say. I guess the question that I wonder though is, what is it going to take to happen to us for that to happen?
Yeah.
Because like when and I go back to the George Floyd thing. Um, when that incident happened, you saw like a worldwide, change with energy. Even the ones that I was calling the gatekeepers, even some of them
Hmm.
started,
Hmm.
sliding in and moving in next to us, and they, because if I remember right, Michael Jordan was even like he wanted to drop like 100 million, every year for something, or he over 10 years he's going to drop 100 million, and so. I remember, and I don't know if you remember this, but there was this thing that happened right in the middle of that. And it seemed like for like a whole year, even white people were just like, oh yeah, the white supremacy, it got to end, and they were on board with it. We want to hear what y'all have to say and stuff like this. And somewhere like right after that first year happened, and I knew, and I know, I don't know who did this, but I know it was a strategic plan. All of a sudden, you seeing these black people going into these Asian communities and doing stuff to Asian people. Like there was one woman, she got
Mm.
pushed in front of a car. Then there was another one where I think she got pushed in front of a train or something like that. And then all of a sudden it became, well, why are all these black people attacking Asian people? What's going on here? And if you even know yourself, and I guarantee you, if you talk to any Asian Americans, they will tell you you don't see black people walking through Asian communities like that. We don't even do that. Now we
Yeah.
might go to the store, we might go get some food, we might go get our hair and nails done,
Yeah.
but
Nail shops.
we
Yeah.
don't be walking around in their communities like that. And I honestly I think it was a diversion, to get the bill passed, and then also two, to take all that energy away from what happened with the George Floyd thing. Because
Wow.
it was a big energy going on behind that.
It was. It
Yeah,
was. And all the promises of funding, of money being,
yeah,
promises of money going to the black community, most of that never happened. People never
right. Yeah,
fulfilled their commitment to doing that. Most of
yeah,
these companies, these corporations who made these grandiose promises about what they're going to do,
yeah,
most of them they never did it. Let
yeah.
me ask this then. I'm gonna shift gears just a little bit, and it's not shifting gears, but
Sure,
I'm gonna go to another question that
sure.
may be surprising based on how the direction of our conversation. What do you think is the most rewarding thing about being a black man in America? What is most rewarding about being a black man?
Myself personally, I would say the fact of, um, and this is interesting. So I'm gonna back up a little bit to something that I was alluding
Right.
to before, because um, there's like this energy that was going on prior to to Donald Trump being elected, and to the election and stuff. And it was interesting because it was like this sense that I was getting from, especially like from other immigrant groups.
Hmm.
And again, it was like I was saying, the stereotypes and the beliefs and stuff like that. I've heard tons of stories that I can go on all night with you about, but they were, just basically making these stereotypes about, the 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 work ethic, and the basically not the need for, us to be here, and making it seem like, well, yeah, you can make it if quit complaining, and quit making excuses and stuff. And so you see all this thriving and stuff. But now it's like, since what's been happening with this deportation thing, I've been noticing a whole lot more. It's like now black black sentiment is now being understood more, a whole lot more. And I say that to say, to answer your question, where I take the pride even in where I feel our place in this country, which is basically almost like second class citizens, and people will probably argue that point with me. I'm gonna stand on what I say.
Well, I'm not one of them.
But
I'm not going to argue with you. I think it
yeah,
exists. Yes.
Yeah. But the fact that we've been able, after challenge after challenge after challenge, and all of the different things that have been
Yes.
created to knock us down, the fact that we still stand.
We're still here.
And I think that we do that better than any culture in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as being, yeah, so as far as being like a black man, I have a strong pride in that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This is African proverb that says, they thought they buried us, but they didn't realize we were seeds.
Oh,
Right?
wow. I like that. I like that.
Right? They thought they
Yeah, I
buried
like
us, but
that.
they didn't realize we were seeds. Right? That we're
Yeah,
gonna
I like
continue to
that.
grow. The
Yeah,
resiliency of black people, the black
yeah,
spirit.
yeah,
And so given that, I have to believe that there's still hope for us to come together and
yeah,
stand strong as a
yeah.
black as a group of people. Now, we got a couple minutes left. Let me ask you the closing questions.
Mhm.
Um, of our audience in our conversation today, what final words would you like to share with the black men who are listening to you right now? What words would you leave them with as we end our time together today? And then, what is a favorite quote or book or a song that has inspired you?
Okay. I would like to revert to a famous saying, and I'm sure I'm going to misquote her some on this, but it's actually from Maya Angelou.
Mm,
And so I lead into that quote by just by saying this, um, to young, to old black men, don't measure your success by money.
mm,
Don't let the determine success by by what you consider success. It's not about things that you can have. It's not about big amount of money that you can make. That's what the European ideology teaches us. Now, as I was saying before, it's only 8% of us, according to statistics, only 8% of us that even make over 100,000. So it's not like you by yourself. And so don't let what you don't have or do have in your pocket define what success is for you. And so I say, I'm gonna try to remember this exactly the way Maya said. I'm just gonna. I know I'm gonna add a few of my own words in, but she said, "Don't allow money to be the goal or what it is that you're trying to do. Know what you're passionate about. Know what it is that you love to do. Know what your God-given ability is,
mm.
and then do that to the best of your ability, so that people will never take their eyes off of you."
Wow. Wow, that's powerful. Thank you, man,
Yeah,
for sharing that. So, thank you so much, Matthew, for joining us on this episode of
yes,
You Are Not Alone. We got to have you come
absolutely.
back for sure.
Absolutely. I love
Audience,
it. Yeah.
yes, audience, thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us. And remember that we are interconnected and interdependent on each other. And so remember that, and never forget that we are not meant to do life alone. Grace and peace, and see you next time on YANA. You Are Not Alone. YANA is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard because none of us are meant to do life alone.